What's up, little bro? One day you are going to be around people that are more successful than you are, and it's going to come fairly shortly if you're on your right path. Now, here's the deal. You're going to see how they interact with their business, how they interact with their kids, but this video is about how they interact with their wife. Because here's the deal. You're going to find that a good number of them, and I don't know if it's most of them, definitely a decent amount of them, their wives treat them horribly. And yeah, sure, they're hot, but you've got to wonder, why in the world? These rich, successful guys who could have a new woman in their Lambos anytime, why would they put up with these women? Even if they're married to them, just get a divorce and go. And it's like, well, okay, you can kind of see why they don't get divorced, but you kind of wonder, how do they fall into this trap in the first place? Like, why do they marry these horrible and mean-spirited women? Because you don't want to be around them. I mean, just being around their wives is just almost intolerable. They're not happy with anything around them. They're just miserable people. And it's like, how did they get there? Before I really get into it, this is assuming that we're dealing with normal people. So we're not dealing with the fact that she might be a narcissist. She might have some sort of attachment disorder. She might have some sort of BPD. We're just dealing with normal people, okay? So aside from possible mental health issues, I'm assuming that the average person is dealing with the average person here. What has happened? Why do rich men constantly seem to marry these horrible, mean women? First off, from what I've seen in my experience, is that these women weren't mean and horrible when they first started dating. And yeah, you could sit there and say, well, sure, they wanted to get him hooked, during the honeymoon phase and all that good stuff. And there's probably a bit of truth to that. But I think what you'll find more accurate is that the man is acting differently than he does now. And what I mean by that is he's courting her properly. He's listening to her. They're staying up for hours just talking, getting to know each other. He's dating her every second he can get. They're both in bed as much as they can possibly be. And what you find is a lot of closeness and a lot of intimacy, which is, again, average for the honeymoon phase of a relationship. Which is why if you look back to their earlier days of dating, go and look at the videos, go and look at the pics, and you see consistently happy people. And you gotta scratch your head and wonder, what happened to those people? Why is the person in front of me now just horrible and mean-spirited? And why is her husband just this browbeaten moron? It's like, how in the world does this happen? So point number one was they weren't horrible when they started dating. Something happened between the time they started dating and now in that relationship. Whether now is marriage or now is simply a few years later, maybe they're not married, it doesn't matter. What is the difference? What went wrong? Number two, years of boundary pushing and disrespect. That's the answer. So what happens is, as you will figure out as well, little bro, when you get into a new relationship, you are both, whether you know it or not, testing each other's boundaries. Now, this is a soft sort of a test, right? You might find out that your girl doesn't like a particular joke, a particular show. She doesn't like being called a particular word. God forbid you call your girlfriend a racial slur nowadays. I don't know how long this channel is gonna last before I am just canceled. But I swear to you, there is something about calling your significant other the most derogatory terms in love. There's just something to it, man. I don't understand it. But anyway, back to disrespect. This video is falling apart. What you'll find is that they both push each other's boundaries. And in this video, we're simply focusing on the man here. So we're focusing on the boundaries that she's pushing against his. And what you'll find is that the man needs to, let's say, go to work, okay? And he works for long hours. And for some reason, women tend to think that they can marry a successful, rich man that doesn't work all but 4 hours a day. And it's like, hey, I'm not against that. It's just good luck. You know what I mean? Good friggin' luck. A boundary that they'll push is they'll say something like, oh, I want you to call me on your lunch break. I want to see you every lunch break. I want to do all this. And it's like, you just can't. When you're at work, you've got to be at work. You've got to be fully there, fully invested in your day and in what you're doing. And hopefully you have a woman that understands this. Hopefully you have a woman that is a good communicator and, again, with a good attitude that'll understand things like this. So this is a boundary that women love to push, though. And they'll push this boundary over and over again. And they're not necessarily doing it because they want to get their way. They're trying to push you off of your center, off of what makes you a man. Because here's the thing, if they can do that, they're going to trust you less. They're going to love you less. They're going to respect you less. And what happens is over the years, they keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again with little bitty things, little bitty remarks, and you don't call her out on it. She's rude to you. She's disrespectful. I think all women are late on dates, but she's like overly late. You know, she's hours late for a date, and you don't call her out on it. Your time is apparently not valuable to you. You don't say anything. You're just thrilled that you're with a hot girl. And it's like these little things over years not only are not good for you, they're not good for her. She's going to treat you exactly how you are allowing yourself to be treated. So don't sit there and wonder, what went wrong? Why is my wife treating me like this? It's like, look at the crap you've put up with for however many years you've been together. Look at, you cannot accept and tolerate disrespect on that level for that many years and have a woman that respects you. It does not work. Grow some balls, tell her to f off, and do what makes you a man. And what happens is, over the years, a woman will disrespect and disrespect and disrespect and constantly push boundaries and constantly push her husband, and that it will slowly make her resent him. So that even if he's successful, even if he's rich, even if he's handsome, even if all these things are there that she loves and hypergamy is satisfied, if all of those things are there, she will eventually resent him and treat him like garbage because he deserves it. You're not acting like a man. It's like, why do you expect people to respect you when you clearly don't even respect yourself? Like, you don't even open your mouth to tell your wife, tell your girlfriend, hey, you're not going to treat me like that. If you treat me like that again, X, Y, and Z is going to happen. And what you'll find is that when you give a girl an ultimatum, typically they push it and you got to knock them just like that and they're gone. But the typical new age man is going to set a boundary. Their girl's going to break that boundary. You're going to break up, and then you're going to take her right back. That does nothing. You understand that? She's going to keep doing that. You get this illusion in your mind that, oh, we broke up for a while, so, you know, I definitely stood my ground as a man. It's like, you took her back, you moron. You didn't stand any ground. She's just going to do it again, no matter what it is. She's just going to keep doing it, and the disrespect is going to get worse. You don't keep your word as a man. You don't keep your center as a man that says, you're not going to knock me off my center. You threaten my boundaries, and I'm threatening the relationship. And once it's over, we're done. I'm not replying to your texts. I'm not replying to your calls. You are absolutely dead to me. But the average man cannot do that. The average man cannot simply walk away. The average man doesn't have that many options, so he views her in his life as something truly special. And here's the thing. She's not, man. She's not. You've got to have an abundance mindset, because with that comes confidence. With that comes this idea of drawing boundaries and self-respect. And number 3, most importantly, long-term, a woman cannot fall in love and stay in love with a man she does not respect. And that's why you as a man need to be chasing after respect in your relationships, not just with her, with your children, as your business associates and you interact. Everything that you do needs to be chasing and only chasing respect, because no amount of money, no amount of women are going to fill that hole, that void in your life if you are just walking around and accepting everybody's disrespectful attitudes towards you. There has got to be a limit. There has got to be something inside you that says, you know what? I deserve to be treated better than this, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And if not, you remove the only thing that you truly have power to remove, which is your time and attention. And that goes for your wife. That goes for your girlfriend. You've got to be willing to walk away. I'm not telling you to get a divorce, okay? I'm not telling you to break up with her, but I am telling you that if you give her an ultimatum, she's probably going to push it, but you need to stand by it and not take her back. Because if you do, she's just going to do it again and again and again. So back to the main point. Why does it seem like these rich, successful men marry these horrible, mean women? Simply put, it's because they've tolerated and put up with years of disrespect. They've stopped courting them properly. And because of that, the women in their life have grown resentful, mistrustful of their masculine core, and treat them as such. And again, a woman cannot stay in love with a man she does not respect. Gentlemen, little bro, chase respect. Chase respect. I'll see you in the next one.